There is a grand conspiracy afoot. Democrats nationwide have been secretly plotting to turn people into Republicans. I'm kidding. It's a joke, but come on. It's kind of true, right? Here's a tweet from me. It is raining red pills in California. It's a sad video, man, and I'm not here to drag this woman. I'm here to support her and do what I can to make sure that people know about what's happening in the Los Angeles County area. I believe this woman's restaurant is in the Valley. I'm not entirely sure. But this is a viral video. 4.5 million views already. This woman runs the Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill. And in this video, she says they've shut her down. They're taking everything from her. But guess what? In her parking lot, there is an outdoor dining area for the movie industry, which is totally safe and fine. One thing stood out to me when she said, everything I own is being taken away. And that's why people think the Great Reset is the why this is all happening. Now, I had a conversation with a lefty fellow who said, it's not a grand conspiracy. They're locking things down because people are dying. And I said, yes, perhaps, but the lockdown didn't work the first time. They're likely exploiting this for their Great Reset. I want to play for you this video. You can hear what this woman has to say. It's very important.
So this is my place, the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. If you go to my page, you can see all the work I did for outdoor dining, for tables being 7 feet apart. And I come in today because I'm organizing a protest, and I came in to get stuff for that. And I walk into my parking lot, and obviously Mayor Garcetti has approved this.
And now what she's showing is a massive outdoor
Has approved
area for food, for eating.
this being set up for a movie company.
Bunch of tents, white tents, dining tables, and then right next to it is her dining area she's not allowed to use.
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me. And they set up a movie company right next to my outdoor patio, which is right over here.
You can see she's got hers very similar.
And people wonder why I'm protesting and why I have had enough. They have not given us money and they have shut us down. We cannot survive. My staff cannot survive. Look at this. Tell me that this is dangerous, but right next to me as a slap in my face.
It's brutal, man.
That's safe. This is safe. 50 feet away. This is dangerous. Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
So, as that video was playing, I did narrate a bit because that's for the people who are listening on the podcast. But she said a few things that kind of make me feel sad for her. I mean, first of all, this woman is showing us that her business has been shut down. Yet 50 feet, there is the exact same thing. Picnic tables. She's got to make sure people are 7 feet apart from each other. They get to put up picnic tables. They're allowed. Rules for thee, but not for me. Unfortunately, what did she say in this video? Two things that you need to hear. One, Garcetti and Newsom are responsible for everybody who's not getting unemployment, not getting their benefits. You cannot rely on these people who are beating you to death to help you afterwards. You cannot stand there, look at me and say, help me, please. They are stealing everything from me. They are beating me. Why won't they help me? Why won't they give me a check? Why won't they give me money while this happens? They are bludgeoning your business figuratively to death. What makes you think they're going to be giving you anything while they're doing it? She said something else. Someone needs to do something. You know, when I see stuff like this, This Pineapple Grill place is in it's in LA County. I believe I'm not super familiar with how the county structure works. I think it's just on the other side of the the ridge, whatever. So it's the San Fernando Valley, I think it's called. I live there. I don't remember what these places are. San Fernando Valley. So she's right off. I think it's like the 101 or something. She's in one of the bluest places in the country. And I say it's raining red pills. When I see something like this, you know what I say to this woman? I will do whatever I can. I will blast this out. I will make sure people see this. People need to know what's happening. I covered the story in Staten Island where the bar owner said, I'm opening back up. Protesters came out. And many of these urban, liberal, progressives, upper crust types mock and belittle the working class. This woman has staff. She's got family. There are people who rely on her services, and there are people who rely on these jobs, and it is being stripped away while they laugh in her face 50 feet away. How incredible that after all of that, she still doesn't get it. Okay, so I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to drag her. I want, anybody who lives in the LA area, it's the Pineapple Saloon and Grill, Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill. And people should protest because this is not about COVID. They're lying. There's no reason why people can't sit outside at her picnic tables, but they can sit outside at the movie theater, the movie industry picnic tables. Clearly, this is not about COVID. Oh, but the movies are essential? No, they're not. Restaurants are essential. Movie production is not. It is a slap in the face, the largest transfer of wealth in U.S. history, stripping away the rights and the property of the working class to give it to the millionaires and the billionaires. The millionaires and the billionaires in this country, now that Bernie Sanders is not going to stand up and fight, somebody's got to, I guess. But I'm just so let down hearing her say, we need unemployment checks and someone has to do something. Ma'am, with all due respect, you have my utmost empathy, my sympathy, and my support. Set up a GoFundMe. I will seek it out and I will do what I can to help you. But please stop waiting for someone to save you. As evidenced by the fact that you made the video in the first place, you understand your responsibility here to stand up and be the leader. The Democratic Party, in my opinion, is as corrupt as they come. And the Republican Party is corrupt, but completely ineffective in many ways. Trump does not represent the Republican Party. And as you can see from Trump supporters, man, they do not like Republicans. I saw a video the other day. They walked up to a guy in Georgia with a Trump hat on. And a journalist asked him, will you be supporting Perdue and Loeffler? And he says, I don't know. We'll see. And they say, what's your focus? Are you concerned about the runoff? He says, I'm concerned about November 3rd and Donald Trump. Trump supporters, not Republicans. There's kind of an overlap because Trump used the Republican Party, but I digress. The Democratic Party is crooked and corrupt. All of the politicians who have been caught violating COVID, guess what party they're from? The Democrats. So the Republicans have their problems, no doubt. I can complain about them all day and night. Ma'am, you should run for office. You should stand up and demand your rights. Nobody, you know what? I got to rephrase that. You have your rights. You have them. They can't be taken away. The real issue is that there is a system put in place by the Democrat voters of Los Angeles to crush you, to steal from you and destroy your life. I'm a rather left-leaning individual. And what I mean by that is, you're going to hear left and right. They're going to tell you they're going to give you different definitions of what these mean. I tell you. I believe in a mixed economy, and I lean slightly towards cooperative market. There's a difference between cooperative and competitive. Competitive, there's a really great political compass thing where it shows you different networks for economics. And a cooperative is we work together and we kind of, I'll put it this way. Paying taxes is more cooperative. The issue is I'm more of a left-leaning libertarian type. So how you implement tax increase or anything like that, it's not easy. It's not. And ultimately, then you end up drifting more towards right libertarianism, which is competitive marketplaces. But I think there should be a bit of a mix. The problem is the Democratic Party right now is split between celebrity influencer garbage who use leftism, which they don't understand, to earn support from people who need or want things. And it's a siren song. This woman and her business have been led astray. Now, I don't know if she's a Republican or a Democrat. The fact that she said we need unemployment checks and someone should do something makes me believe that she's a Democrat, and especially considering the area she's in. But that is the siren song. This is the fundamental problem we have with politics in this country. A Republican will come to you and say, you're on your own, kid, figure it out. Too bad. And then the left will say, what a cold and callous man. These people need help. Don't worry, young man. I'll give you everything you want. Just sign your allegiance to me. And you don't get what you want. You get subservience. You get dependency. When in fact, what sounds harder and harsher might be the best thing for you. Self-sufficiency, which is the most important thing right now. This woman needs to come out and say, I will do something. And she is. She's talking about how she's organizing a protest. Good for her. Again, my respect, sympathy, empathy, and support to this woman with everything going on. But that you can see that mentality, which holds you back. So this story is actually going massively viral. Business owners as restaurants are being unfairly targeted by coronavirus restrictions. How about a better headline for you? Businesses are being unfairly targeted by coronavirus restrictions. They showed you a video, dudes, at CBS. She's got her picnic tables shut down and they're set up. Clearly, they are being unfairly targeted. Maybe there is some hope and people are starting to wake up because we have this amazing story. CNBC fight on COVID-19 restrictions blows up on air. Two CNBC hosts got into an extraordinary early morning fight over COVID-19 restrictions and masks on Friday during a discussion over how restaurants are being devastated by the pandemic. Rick Santelli, a CNBC personality who won fame and attention in 2009 with a rant from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange suggesting that a tea party should be started during that recession, argued that it didn't make sense to shut down restaurants when parking lots at big box retailers were jam-packed with cars and people. Bravo, good sir, you nailed it. Quote, you can't tell me that shutting down, which is the easiest answer, is the only answer, Santelli said, which drew an immediate rebuke from another CNBC personality, Andrew Ross Sorkin, who is also a financial columnist for the New York Times and has previously had on-air disputes with colleagues on CNBC over the appropriate precautions to take for COVID-19. Rick, just as a public health and public service announcement for the audience, the difference between a big box retailer, before he got cut off, who is this? Santelli asked. The two were speaking from different settings. Someone off screen at that point can be heard saying, who else? Who else? Quote, the difference between a big box retailer and a restaurant, or frankly, even a church, are so different it's unbelievable, Sorkin said as Santelli shook his head up and down. Sorkin is an elitist crackpot who says, just give up, submit everything you own. You are nothing and you must bow before the massive corporations that run this planet, you peasant. That's basically what he was saying, right? Whereas Santelli was saying, people need to live. And this is the point I was making just previously about responsibility. I'm here to tell you the lockdowns did not work. Actually, I'm sorry. I think the lockdowns worked to a certain degree. Did we see cases drop? They eventually began to drop. Yes. There's like a week or 2 week delay in what we see in reporting and hospitalization. So earlier this year, we said 15 days to slow the spread. And all of a sudden, the numbers started to drop, hospitalizations and COVID deaths and all that stuff. Why it appeared the lockdown worked. But then something happened once we started easing restrictions right around just in time for the election, mind you, started to come back. I believe this provides us with ample evidence. Considering it's not just the United States, but across Europe as well, it all came back. The lockdowns failed to stop anything. And now I'm here to tell you the harsh reality. People are going to die. It is horrifying, but it is a part of this world. I know a lot of people who have died in a lot of different ways, and it is devastating and it is sad. Sometimes it can be controlled. Sometimes it's a freak accident. Sometimes it's someone taking someone else's life. But sometimes it's a sickness. And I've known people who have died due to sickness. And there's only so much we can do. That's the hard reality you need to understand. That we cannot control nature. We can't control the wind, but we can't adjust our sails. And that means right now, as we're dealing with a pandemic, locking down has failed us and only caused more pain and suffering in the long run. We now have an opportunity to rectify this mistake. Start opening our businesses back up, socially distance, wear masks, and provide extra protections for those with comorbidities, the vulnerable. That is the way out of this. Unfortunately, That's not the easy way. And as Democrats are the party of whispering sweet nothings into your ears, playing the siren song, they'll tell you, why, with but a click of a button, we can shut everything down and bring everything back to normal. Don't worry, in only 2 months of no work and no support, nothing, everything will be A-OK. It's the easy way out, and it will not work. The World Health Organization has already warned us that lockdowns must be a very, very last resort. We are not there yet. In fact, all signs of the past year indicate that in Europe it failed, in the US it failed. So save doing what China did and welding people's doors shut and renditioning them. Well, that's probably not the right way to put it. Kidnapping them and bringing them to God knows where, which we can't do. We must recognize that COVID is going to be here and people will lose their lives. Grow up, stand strong, and realize we are not gods on this planet. We cannot control everything. Sooner or later, a worse pandemic will arise, and we must do what we can. But we also must learn and adapt. The lockdowns have not helped us. It is worse now. Earlier in the year, they said that with the lockdowns, we'd be looking at around 250,000 people. But even with the lockdown then and the lockdown now, we are over that, proving they were wrong. What do? The Democratic politicians are flaunting the rules. Gavin Newsom was now caught, twice? Lori Lightfoot, Gretchen Whitmer, Nancy Pelosi, going out and getting their hair done. They don't care about you, and they're not worried about this. And they will do what they want while you suffer and burn. Because there is a hard reality that probably even they know. There's nothing you can do. Nothing. I mean, to make this completely disappear, to make the death stop. There are things we can do to mitigate the problems and the pain and the suffering. Instead, the feckless who are leading these blue states and cities give us only one option. Ladies and gentlemen, many epidemiologists want social distancing and masks forever, even after the vaccine. Everyone has a right to dissent from the epidemiologists' contentment with the way things are now, from Rabbi Suave. The New York Times asked 700 epidemiologists to describe their COVID-19 habits, how their thinking has changed since the pandemic began, and when they think it will be safe for normal life to resume. Dismayingly, several answer the last question with a resounding never. I expect that wearing a mask will become part of my daily life moving forward, even after a vaccine is deployed. Amy Hobbs, a research associate at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, told the Times. Marilyn Tseng, an assistant professor at California Polytechnic State University, said life would never revert to the way it was, though the preventative measures currently practiced, masks and social distancing, will feel normal in time. Similarly, Vasily Vlasov, a professor at HSE University in Moscow, said life was perfectly normal now because this is the new normal. Not for me. I'm on the middle of nowhere. I walk around acres and acres of property where I just live my life like normal. We have deliveries come in, and out here, guess what? People don't wear masks and they don't function this way. Their businesses aren't being shut down in this way either. Why? Well, because there's no one to come out and enforce it. And there's no mass proximity between other people to spread COVID. So I'll tell you what's really happening. It's the cities that are being destroyed and being torn down. Maybe it's a good thing. In a sense, too many people have become complacent. To see this woman say, I'm organizing a protest, I'm doing everything, but someone needs to do something, says to me, y'all need to go to the woods. I know, maybe this lady might be an urban Republican of some sort. I don't know her political leanings. But I think it's a good thing that we would bring people out to the middle of nowhere. Welcome to the wilderness. Can you start a fire? Can you build a shelter? Can you find water? Can you do any of that stuff? You know, look, I understand you don't have to because technology affords us a very, very comfortable life. But you should have basic skills. What happens if you go for a hike and you get lost? Are you going to survive? Most don't. Or I should say many don't. They wander around confused and they don't know what the first thing they need is in order to survive. And I tell you this, they think it's water. They don't know. So they're out in the wilderness and they start lumbering around, not realizing that in fact it's shelter. Or at least when I did my hostile environment training, the first thing you need is shelter from the elements because, well, you could die. I mean, first of all, you can be attacked by animals, but more importantly, there are people who die of hypothermia relatively easily and people don't get it. sitting around doing nothing outside when the temperature drops, but you do need water as well. And you need to understand how to protect yourself, how to warm yourself, because sometimes you get lost. And this happens to a lot of people. How many stories have we read about these silly urban liberal women who decide to go mountain climbing in Morocco? And then what? Tragedy. Or how about the people riding their bikes through Tajikistan? And then what? Tragedy. I'm not going to explain in detail what those tragedies are. But the idea that many people in cities are having everything destroyed and taken away from them, I feel for you. Absolutely. And I will support you. But I will also point out, you need to be responsible for yourself. And I moved out to the middle of nowhere, and we're almost off the grid. That's one big goal of mine. And now, actually, we're going to be getting look, I'll tell you this. In the middle of nowhere, land isn't that expensive. If you live in a city, let me tell you something. You put 5 or 10% down on a plot of land, okay? And the land can be like seriously hundreds of acres for like, I don't know, say 50 grand. So you put down, say, $2,500, not the easiest thing in the world to get, but you can save up and you can work hard. That's your down payment. And then you're spending a couple $100 a month on your mortgage or on your loan, depending on, the structure of it. So we're looking at getting a massive, massive property. Why? Because we're going to be filming and producing stuff for the vlog. And so I'm already out in the middle of nowhere, but now we're going to be expanding because empty land is relatively cheap. You get it through a loan, you do that stuff. What I'm saying is you can survive further outside of the city. You don't need to be there. And it's about time you start relying on yourself, fighting, learning how to survive and fight on your own. And from then, we build up our communities of individuals who work together towards a more prosperous future. I hope this lady gets some support. I wish her success in a nonviolent protest, nonviolent civil disobedience. Best of luck. And I'm going to keep tracking this stuff. But I'm telling you, the Democrats' plan is to make everything worse. They're saying even with the vaccine, it won't matter. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up over at my other channel, the Tim Pool YouTube channel, which you can find by typing in your address bar, youtube.com/TimCast. It'll be up at 4 p.m. Let's get serious. Things are getting spicy on these streets, and both sides are accusing each other of staging a coup. I'll see y'all at 4 p.m. Thanks for hanging out.